How's it going, Vault Hunters? Welcome back to another Borderlands 2 Legendary Weapons Guide. Today, we're going after the legendary Torgue Assault Rifle known as the Kerblaster. Now, the Kerblaster can only come in explosive element, being a Torgued weapon, and is a base game legendary, which means no DLCs are required. The red text for this weapon reads, Torgue got more boom. And as always, note, the prefix of your weapon may be different to mine, but will always be some variation of the Kerblaster. In order for you to get your very own Kerblaster, we're going to first go to our nearest fast travel station and go to the southern shelf. Once we spawn in, we're going to be going to another loading zone known as the Southern Shelf Bay due to it not being accessible through fast travel. Once there, we'll be looking for an enemy known as Midgmong. Midgmong is a giant bullymong with a little companion riding on his back. He is a red bar enemy, which means Fire will do very well at putting him down. Note that he does have a little bit of armor that has a chance of reflecting bullets. In order to get Midgmong to spawn in for the first time, you will have to complete a small little quest chain by Sir Hammerlock. On screen, you can see in order from top to bottom the quests that are necessary to complete in order to get him to spawn in. An alternate way of farming the Kerblaster is if you own the DLC Torgue's Campaign of Carnage, you are able to find Kerblasters in the Torgue vending machines throughout the DLC. Now that we've loaded into the Southern Shelf Bay, let's open up our map, and on the right side of the map, you can see within the red circle, that is the location of the enemy Midgmong. Now, the path to get to Midgmong isn't too terribly long. You will have to fight a few enemies to get to him. They're not mandatory, you could run past them, but they do tend to build up quite a bit if you leave them alone. So I recommend just bringing your favorite mobbing weapon and just kind of go through them as they get in your way. All in all, you can roughly complete this farm in 2 to 3 minutes, I would say. Maybe a little bit faster if you're playing certain characters. So it's not a terrible farm time-wise. But after you fight your way through all the enemies, you will eventually come face to face to Midgmong, and hopefully he is generous enough to drop you a Kerblaster. The closest non-unique item in the game to the Kerblaster would be a purple Torgue Assault Rifle with matching parts and prefix. And as you can see, the Kerblaster completely just destroys this thing in stats. And this isn't even taking into account the Kerblaster's legendary effect of shooting mini missiles that upon detonation will spawn a mini grenade, which will then detonate after a small period of time. This thing is an absolute explosive splash damage machine. I just want to quickly note too that the mini grenades can be a little inconsistent at times. Sometimes they don't appear at all or just don't damage targets. But with all that out of the way, let's get down to the damage. As usual, I have the 3 main damage variants for the weapon, as well as my Rough Rider Shield, Slag Grenade, and Elemental Relic. I have no skills and no badass bar enabled. Once again, we're going to be using what I like to call the phase lock method, where we'll phase lock an opponent and DPS them for the duration of the ability. As you can see, between the 3 variants, the damage is quite similar, so we'll try again with Slag. Now, if you're looking for the God roll, first we're going to need to get the prefix Wild. The Wild prefix can be identified by this accessory here. Next, we're going to be looking for the Torgue Grip, which will give us the manufacturer bonus and increase our reload speed as well as magazine. Next up, we're going to be looking for a Doll Stock, which will give us an increase to accuracy, minus recoil, and an increase in recoil recovery. Next, for the barrel, we luckily don't have to worry about it due to it being locked as the Torgue Kerblaster barrel, which gives it its unique effect. Lastly, the sights, doesn't matter, choose which one you prefer most. That basically does it for everything you need to know about the Kerblaster, but Once again, before I leave you with the footage of me fighting Terramorphous, I want to say I always try and test these weapons out in their most bare bones form so you can make the decision on whether or not you want to build it for your character. If I had to make a recommendation, I would say Krieg and Axton, for they have many skills that will increase the damage of just assault rifles, but as well as explosive damage, splash damage, all that fun stuff. But that basically about does it for me, so I'll see you next time, Vault Hunters.